Hey, I just woke up from a nap. It was quite good. So hit the sub button to celebrate my nap. Also, check out the Twitch if you're into that kind of thing. That is all. Goodbye. So funny enough, this was not at all my plan for today's video. I was going to do a video on how a lot of really weak perks are about to get over buffed. So if you want a video on that, just let me know because I still have the script for that. We would just talk through the breakout, coup, crowd control changes, all those. But anyways, today's video, I want to talk about DCing. And no, I'm not going to try to relay new information to you. We all know what DCing is. We all know the two sides of it. But I'm just going to put it all into one video so we can discuss it in the comments. As literally all of us know, DCing is when you disconnect from a game. A lot of people DC from internet issues, but the vast majority of people DC because they do not want to play a game out. The consequences right now of people DCing are the fact that you leave your team at a ridiculous disadvantage. And then the consequence of the DCer is a 40-second penalty. The reason I want to talk about this is because every single DBD creator right now has agreed that DCing and giving up is the worst it's ever been in DBD's history. And don't forget, there was a point where DCing had no penalty, and it's worse now. So why would I make a video about this if I just said everything's been said about this topic? Because there's two very divided sides. I would even argue this is just as dividing as killer versus survivor and the whole us versus them mentality, which by the way is still so toxic. You guys realize we're all playing the same game? People swear that survivor is 100% its own game and killer is 100% its own game, but in reality you guys are literally just playing the same game. But you swear like, I hate killer mains, I hate survivor mains. Y'all wouldn't have a game without them. So stop arguing like little children. Jesus. You could be an absolute Chad like me and just play both roles. When survivor gets old, switch to killer. When killer gets old, switch to survivor, you know? That's the best way to enjoy this game. But anyways, that's a tangent and we need to go back to the main topic, which is the two sides of DCing. And no, I'm actually not talking about killer and survivor sides. Both of these opinions come from survivors, but they just divide survivors so badly. The one side of DCing is, why would I stay in a game I'm not having fun in? And you know what? I do partially understand that side because you're playing DBD. You're not playing a hyper-competitive game. You're playing a very casual game. You're literally playing cat and mouse simulator. That's all this game is. The other side of DCing is I hate people who DC because I can never get out of games. Funny enough, this last rank reset, I was going from red 4 to red 1 and I was solo queuing a lot of it. And I had so many DCs that I had to call friends up because guess what? You can't pip in red if you even have a single DC. Yes, that could be argued and it's like, well, if you have a perfect game and all of you do 17 generators alone and blah. Yes, but let's be honest here, you really can't. So that side is kind of summarized by you are ruining everyone else's game by DCing. And me personally, especially when I'm solo queuing, I'd rather save someone else, like traded a hook and I die and they get out, instead of me just waiting by the gate and helping nobody and making sure I escape. So the way I see it is I'd rather just fight it out. And if it truly gets unbearable, just throw my hooks, than DC. I think in the last 100 Survivor games I've played, and during this event, Survivor was incredibly sweaty. I think I DC'd maybe once, twice. There's a running joke on my stream that I save all my DCs for Legions. And realistically, now the only time I will ever DC is if I'm getting slugged out on the ground or if I get 3 Legions in a row. That's it. I really don't DC much. So I guess my opinion would be don't DC because you're throwing for your entire team. But also it's really hard to say that when the DC penalty is only 40 seconds. If someone's solo queuing and doesn't give a shit about anyone on their team, which is most Survivor players, then they're not going to think twice. They're going to DC and nothing you say is going to tell them otherwise. But it's gotten to the point where instead of just DCing for like a skull merchant that instantly holds a 3-gen or a Wesker because you see him too much, which by the way, I don't understand that thought process. He's such a fun killer to play against. Anyways, that's a tangent. People are now just DCing to DC. A couple days ago, a trapper had bloody coil and 2 survivors disconnected. I shit you not. Not even an indoor map. Though I'm never going to be able to convince people like that to not DC because obviously they're going to DC on a dime. They clearly already have their minds made up. They have the mental of a diamond Valorant player. I more just have to stop and ask them, Why are you playing the game in the first place? If the second a trapper hits you and he has sloppy butcher, you're gonna DC, why did you boot the game? All you're doing is harming the health of other people's lobbies. And that's kind of where my opinion falls, is you are ruining the games of other people. And yes, I know survivor bots are coming, but the problem still stands. Players are disconnecting now more than ever. Why? And I'll be honest, Killer has been a whole lot more toxic than it is right now. That's what baffles me the most. Killer used to be such a stronger power role, and then we just had the gen kick meta. Those were the times to DC, when games were lasting 55 minutes. So why are people DCing from a basic M1 killer with default perks? I don't have a fucking clue. I don't have the answer. Because in my mind, I just would never do that. Even if I got tunneled out, I'd see no point. And that's why I'm making this video. I want to hear things from the other side. This is not a division thing. This is not a fuck you, you DC thing. I just don't understand it. If you're hopping on Dead by Daylight to play Dead by Daylight, why aren't you playing Dead by Daylight? And for the people that do play like that DC on a dime, why? Not only why, but what could fix it? Because I know the old camping tunneling argument, but y'all, gen rushing is worse than it's ever been. Tunneling, camping, and gen rushing are all forcing the objective. You cannot say you hate people that face camp and tunnel and then bring bond prove with a 4-stack and have gens done in 5 minutes. It's literally the same energy on both sides. And also, I'm putting killer clips in here because I wanted to talk about the killer side of DCs as well. Killer's game health is already not great, if I'm honest, and it's going to get worse once these bots are introduced. These bots are juicers. I don't know if you've played with them in customs. They do gens at a moment's notice. I'm actually worried that the shitty, bad mental DC is going to be replaced with an S tier bot that gen rushes the lobby out. So I'm a little worried to see how they operate in pubs, but we'll see. We'll see. I can't really have an opinion on something that's not fully out yet, so that would be unfair. Regardless, what I wanted to say about the killer side is, let's say I'm playing Blight and I hit someone. First hit of the entire game, and they DC. They're just going to get replaced with a drone, essentially, just a bot. And then I'm just going to be like, wow, I'm playing against computers now. Sick. Is it a huge deal? Not really, but it's more of the principle of it all is you're playing an online multiplayer game and you're not playing against other players. You'll be playing against bots. And again, don't get me wrong, the Skull Merchants and Legions out there, I'm excited y'all have to face that. But I am a Knight enjoyer. I love playing Chase Knight and I love playing against Knight as well. So I know I'm going to have a ton of DCs and I'll be playing against bots too. Regardless, now that everything's on the table, what are your opinions on this topic? And what are some solutions? Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Talk to me, just